Hey, how's it going, YouTube? My name is Eric Follis, and today I've got a bit of a different video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at a header that I made for a gentleman by the name of Prod the Savage. He does gaming related stuff. He commissioned me to make him an Assassin's Creed header. So yeah, this is something new. I haven't really done any videos like this before in the past. I think that it might be something kind of cool. I think that you can learn a lot more by actually going through other people's work and seeing how they did stuff rather than just looking at stuff. I don't know if that makes any sense or whatever. But yeah, so let's jump right on into it. So what I did to create this was, first of all, I went off to Google and I found some stocks. Sorry, I still had the gradient map on there. So I found some Plexus stocks. I was thinking, you know, Assassin's Creed, that's all Plexus. So yeah, so I was thinking maybe we'll base it around Plexus. I was obviously thinking white as well, because Assassin's Creed is all about that white and high contrast and, you know, a little bit of offset. But yeah, so this is what I essentially did. What I was thinking was, you know, this one looks really nice. It's got a very nice glow to it. It all looks really good. And I was thinking, well, I could probably use this one for the backing. And then this one here, I was thinking, well, I could probably overlay this over some different elements within it. So what I did was let me open it up. First of all, click that off. So first I started with just a white background, and this was sort of to allow me, or no, I started off with this as a background, sorry. So I started off with this as a background. I then duplicated it, I rotated it 180 degrees, and then I set it to lighten. If I would have set it to screen, I feel like it would have almost even been too much, but lighten did the job well. I next created a gradient map, and what I did with why I did the gradient map is because I wanted all of my I wanted the base of it to be white, and I wanted all the polygons and whatever it is, the abstractness to be black. So how I did that was I went up here, went to my adjustment, or you can alternatively go up here to your window, open adjustments right there, and then they're just right here. I clicked on gradient map, and then I set, it'll be whatever your primary and back colors are. But yeah, so I set my foreground to black, and I set my background to white, and that essentially did like an inverse for myself without the color. So if I would have done it like this, with just a normal inverse, I would have kept all the color. So I just decided to do a gradient map. Sorry guys, I'm clearing my throat a lot. So next what I wanted to do was I wanted to create almost like a little bit of a polygon. So essentially what I did was I just made it look like there would be a triangle right here, if you can imagine. So here's the line going up, here's another line, and they connect somewhere down here. After that, I created a little bit of a scene by adding some smoke on 25% opacity. If you guys are interested in where I got these brushes from, here I'll show you what they are. They're very powerful. So you can essentially place it down, it'll resize, it'll adjust, and all that kind of stuff. You can get them from Envato Elements. I will leave a link in the description below. Obviously this video isn't sponsored by them, but I use their stuff quite a bit, so I highly recommend checking them out. So after I did that, I wanted to, so this layer is nothing. I never do that, that's disgusting. I wanted to add some of our element from here. And I wanted to add it into the black parts. So how I did that was I created it on there. I just did a bit of brush, or I erased it a little bit. I probably should have used a mask instead, but I erased it. And I just kept it over there. I put it on lighten once again. And then I did it on the other side as well. Yeah, if it'll show up, there we go. And then let's get into the idea. Oh, before I do show you guys what that was, I want to sort of break it down a little bit. So the idea of this, all the shattering pieces, was to create leading lines. And essentially the leading lines are like all the lines point to one spot in the image. And that one spot is this spot right here. And it's essentially just to grab attention. So I wanted the primary focus to originally go right here, and that would allow them to read the text and then see the background. So that was sort of my thought process in going into it. So if we go back down, I started off by creating a shape, and the way that I did that was I pressed P, which brings up my pen tool. Normally it'll be on freeform pen tool. You want it to be on the regular pen tool. And then I just created some different shapes, just like this. And then I go up to shape. Well, it'll automatically do that. If I wasn't selected on the layer, I just press shape and it would automatically do that for me. But we are going to delete this here so that I don't screw anything up, if it'll let me. Come on, buddy. There we go. Awesome. And then what I decided to do was I decided to overlay some images. So I first put on this image here. Next, I added a curves to really pop this out because I wasn't really all too concerned about this guy. I wanted to hide him within the white. After that, I hid him in the white, and then I added my polygons. And this sort of allowed me to create a theme overall going throughout the entire thing. So all the dark pieces have the polygon on it. Going up here, let me see if I can find him. There we go. So next, this has to be above because it's above all the other, but I essentially created him. I added a glow behind him, and then I added polygons as well. The same polygons, just so that you know, it's the exact same polygons as the background. That way it matches up, and you can see that it's obviously a part of this. Alright, and I pretty much did that for the rest of them here. Let me go back down, see if I can find it. This one here, just to let you guys know, I added a bit of a motion blur. So I had to merge all of the layers together. Where is that? Right there. So I merged all the layers together. I went up to filter, motion blur, and I just added, like, I think it was 30 degrees and like maybe 5 pixels, just something really small so that, you know, it's not very noticeable, but when you do look in for detail, it's there. So I'm gonna add all the other pieces here. Oh, what did I do? Uh-oh. Holy moly. Okay. Oh, this piece here. So I added some, I wanted to make him pop out a little bit more. So I just created another picture where I merged them all together. No, I actually kept them all separate. And just kept the image there. And then I did a mask and added that right there when it pops up here. There we go. After that, I just continued on making the shapes, you know, making them different. Here's another one. I think that might actually be the last one. Right there. No, I think there might be one more actually. Where is there? Hold on. Hold the phone. Yeah, there is. Okay. Oh, there it is. So I added one more, which was right there, and that created my first scene. After that, I wanted to create a little bit of depth. So what I did to do that was I created this, or I didn't create this, I masked a guy, or the assassin, and I put him over here to the left. Then I created a gradient mask, and I put polygons over him as well. And after that, I created some lighting. And the way that I did that was I just used a soft brush. And I set it to linear dodge. And just to make sure, so this looks really good on white linear dodge brushes. But if you double click on the layer, if it'll open here, and you click off, this will normally be on. You want to turn it off, and it makes a huge difference. Transparency shapes layer. And that essentially brightened up my scene a little bit. I wanted to add another character here, or this is the original character. This is why I added the bright light, is because there's already a bright light here. And then I think that I added more lights actually. Yeah, I did. So I added more lights. I added some more of the dark clouds, or some more of the dark smoke, just to sort of darken it up in some areas. This is just set to overlay on 100%. Excuse me, holy moly. And then I added some curves. Sorry guys, I'm really sick. For my curves, I just did almost like a bit more exposure. You could have done that with exposure as well. And then I think that I added these three here. So this here just makes sure that all of the reds are the same, because this is just black, white, and red right now. I just wanted to make sure that they were all the exact same. Sometimes when you're playing with lighten, it can change the color a little bit, so you just want to make sure that you've got a layer like this. After that, I added some curves, and the curves were to... oh, this one is nothing again. So these curves here were to create some blue. So what I did for that was I went into my red, I dropped this down a little bit, and that essentially creates some cyans in your shadows and overall, and then I added some blues in my highlights and stuff, and that creates a really nice blue effect. After that, I think this might be the text. What is this? If it'll even show me. Oh, right, this was for the text. Oh, okay, I'll leave that alone for a quick second. Okay, so after that I created the text. I used a mask to, you know, make it cut in and out from the shapes in the background. And, yeah, so that's what I did for that. After that, I wanted to make it look like, oh, hold on. Sorry guys, Photoshop's kind of freaking out on me. There we go. So what I did was I took this and I inversed it over top, or I did a gradient map. No, actually I darkened it. I used a multiply blend option, and I put it over top the text. After that, I put it over here, and I put it in the background, and it makes it look like it's almost even coming off the text, so that it looks a little bit better. That was nothing. Once again, wow, 3 layers of nothing I found in here. Need to step up my game. After that, I created some offset, just 20%. This is just so that the blacks didn't seem so black, because we are trying to create a white header. After that, I added some noise and set to exclusion on 7%. Actually adds a pretty nice effect. Here, I'll show you guys if we zoom into the white here. So as you can see, this is before noise, this is after noise. And it in my opinion, it just looks better if you add some noise. So after that, I pressed Control A, and then Control Shift C, Control V, and that created this. I went to Convert to Smart Object, and then I I created, once that merges here, I created this camera raw filter, which we will go into here in just 1 second. So that was, I found that to be almost even too extreme. So I set the opacity down to 50%, which gave me this really nice look. But let's go into how I created the camera raw. If we just double click on here. There we go. Alright, so first of all, what I did was I dropped the temperature quite a bit. I upped my clarity so that it would give me, it would look a lot more sharp. As you can see, this is before, this is after, so it just makes it look a lot more sharp. I also, let me just make sure. I think that I also, yeah, so I added a small amount of grain. This is the preset that I normally use for all of my headers. And then I also added a post-crop vignette. And that just sort of makes all of these areas here look a little bit darker, and it brings your eyes directly to the center. Vignettes are very powerful if you utilize them. I dropped my hue in my red primaries a little bit, and I upped my blue primaries a little bit, and then I made my shadows completely purple, which just sort of saturates them in that way. If I would have put them to green, they would have been more reddish. So I put them right here to magenta, and it looks much better. So that's what I did for that. And then the final thing for this little breakdown here is, geez, my voice is cracking all over the place. So what I did was I pressed Control A, Control Shift C, Control V one more time, and I went up to Filter. I went to Filter, oh, uh-oh. I don't know what this is gonna do. Just give me 1 second here, guys. Oh, there we go. So I went up to filter gallery, and it should still have the same preset as last time. Oh, no, never mind. So I wanted to create almost even like a plexus feel over top of my characters. So I went to this, I played around with the filters a little bit. Played with the smoothness. I think that I brought it like way down. And I just created something pretty... Let me just play around with this here, see if I can figure it out. There we go. So 4 and 7 is what I think that I did. And then after that, I took it, I put a gradient mask over it one more time. I clipped it to the layer, and this essentially just does that. I clicked on this one, I made this red. Then after that, I merged them together, and we're just going to continue on with the one that I already did because I don't want to get a different result. So after that, I set it to lighten, and in some different areas you can actually see it, so I'll show you guys here real quick. So like right here, you can see it right there. So it just sort of blends the images together a little bit better with the plexus feel. Works a lot better. But yeah, this is essentially how I made the prod header. I think that it took me around 2 to 2.5 hours to actually make with all the revisions and stuff. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see more, make sure to like the video and comment. And if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to my channel. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video today. Let me know if you want more, and I will catch you guys on the next one.